Hey Hofstra fans, welcome inside the WB Mason Coaches Report with Abby Morgan. I'm Anthony Barrett, joined by Abby Morgan, the head coach of the Hofstra women's lacrosse team. Coach, thanks for the time. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing pretty good. You didn't have a spring break this past week like the rest of the school. You still had two games in CAA play. We'll start out with the game Friday against Towson. The Tigers really were able to control the game for the most part. You lose 16-9. What did you see from your team in that one?
Yeah, we did not come out as strong as we needed to in the beginning of the game. We stayed close. I mean, Towson is a fabulous team, great defense, great goalie, and we didn't take advantage of the chances that we had. We got a lot in the last 10 minutes, as we do against most teams that we go down on quickly, but we did not do a good job from the start. And we let a couple goals in that were, just unmarked more than anything else, and that was the downfall of the start of it.
And Andy Raymond had 4 goals and 4 assists for Towson. Why was she so difficult to shut down?
She's a great player, very quick, and they're very much a 1v1 team, and we tried to slow that down. And they did combat it back with some assists, and they didn't have a ton of assists from the other players that usually get some of those, but Andy Raymond is a fabulous player, and we need to do a better job on her.
Now you bounced back, you had an impressive win against Delaware. Why do you think your team was able to just get that Towson loss out of their head so quickly and play well?
Well, you have to. In these weekends of CAA play, I mean, it really is such a test, and we try and do one of those weekends in our non-conference play, and just to get us ready for it, because you have to have that short trigger, and especially a 7 o'clock game down at Towson and then coming back and playing on Sunday. We had to refocus ourselves, and 2 weekends in a row we have not played well on Friday, and we've played the 2 top teams, but we haven't played our best, and then Sunday come back and played well. So that's something going into this next one that we really have to play well on Friday.
Now against Delaware, you had a couple of players that had 3- and 4-point games. Lindsay McKinnon with all 4 points coming in the second half. How big is that now you're getting scoring from multiple players? In the past, in the earlier part when you were struggling in non-conference, you'd get 5 points from one player, 4 points from one player, but Delaware, you had multiple players carry the load.
Well, we're starting to do it more, and I think that's something where we need to stand on that. We have a ton of people who can score. You go down the lineup, and it can be very spread out, but Lindsay McKinnon, I mean, she's been up and down. She's struggling with an injury. She hasn't practiced in probably 2 or 3 weeks, and she really just came on, and you could see it right away. Her first drive, we're like, oh, Lindsay's on fire, so let's get her the ball, and she did a great job, and that's something that we need from our players who aren't our starters, but who consistently play. We play a lot of players, and we need people to step up, and it's nice to have a non-scoutable team where you can try and take out 1 or 2 at the top of the list, but those other ones will step up, and that's what we need to be a team to reckon with.
Now you've had a couple of freshmen that have played big roles for you, Ionetta and Altamare. Who has really stood out the most to you this year?
Well, it's tough because both of them have done a great job, and they do it in different ways. Britt is definitely more attacking minded, and she is a midfielder, but just the defense has been a little tougher for her to get a handle on right away as a freshman, and that's always something as a freshman coming in. The defense is the hardest part to learn, but she is pushing our fast break. She's getting multiple goals. She's getting assists. That's something that we didn't know that she would be able to do coming in, because she was playing on a team where it was her, so she had so many goals, but she's really understanding our offense and seeing people and getting those assists as well. And April does a lot more throughout both ends of the field and in transition, draw controls. It's not showing up on the stat sheet that she's getting them, but she's getting them to where we want it, and our players on the outside are winning it. She's causing turnovers, and she's doing a real lot when it comes to the full field play.
Now you brought up the fast break. That's one thing that you've said throughout the season, that you think when your team is successful, it's because you guys are getting the ball in the fast break and scoring those transition goals. Is that something you think has improved throughout the year?
Definitely, and I think that even when we don't get fast break, as it would be 3-on-2 kind of fast break, we are getting chances out of kind of that next piece, those next 10-15 seconds of our offensive possession, where we're getting options, whether we score or not on those options. We're getting shots on cage, we're getting shots that go wide that we restart again, and we're putting pressure on the defense, and I think that that's something that we've really tried to enforce with our team, is stay fast, play fast, and don't let a defense just settle in and get comfortable playing against you, keep them on their toes at all times.
Now, one more quick note about Delaware. Your team went 4 for 4 on free position shots. That's an area where you guys were very hot and cold early in the season. Why were you able to go 100%?
Well, we've really been focusing on shot placement and where we're putting the ball, and we've been a lot smarter where we are shooting. And that stick side high, whether it's a beautiful goal, but a lot of times it doesn't go in, and that's what we've been stressing to our attackers and our midfielders, all of our goal scorers. It doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to go in. And we've also done a lot of utilizing our teammates on our 8 meters. So that's given our team a lot of confidence when they step up to that line, that we've done a better job. We have a whole group of players who are there if it's a rebound or a pass ball. So we're getting a lot of confidence out of our 8 meters.
Now, looking ahead at this weekend coming up, you have your final 2 regular season games. Both of them are at home, and you find yourself in a pretty good position. You control your own destiny in terms of the CAA tournament. If you win one game, you can be the 3 seed. If you lose, it's a little bit more complicated. You can still get in, but all you have to do is win one game. How much have you been preaching that to your team, that you don't always get to control your own destiny?
Yeah, it is something within the CAA. It's always crazy, and to be in a position where you can control your own destiny going into that last weekend. We haven't been in that spot in 2 years. Since 2010, we controlled it and we were in a good position. But this is a weekend where we're playing 2 teams that, yes, they haven't been successful in the CAA yet, both of them with only 1 win, but every single game has been tight. And they are 2 teams that, every time that last weekend comes around, somebody wants to play spoiler. And so we're hoping that it's not us, and we need to focus one at a time. 2 weekends in a row, as we said, the Friday game was not our best. So it would do a lot for us to gain confidence and get this win on Friday night, but it's got to be one at a time.
Now we'll look at the game on Friday against Old Dominion, a new coach there, and they're a team that is very good at getting caused turnovers. They have a high shot percentage. Other than that, they don't really have a lot of the pretty stats, but they've found a way to at least be competitive this year.
They always do, and that's something about Old Dominion. They are always dangerous, no matter who is on their team. Every single year, they're a well-coached team, and they get the most out of their players. They have a couple players who can really score, and they take advantage of the times that they have shots. They score them. So we're going to have to limit their opportunities. And for us, it really is our attack hitting on all cylinders. And if we can keep that part confidence, our defense will fill in the gaps. But that's going to be important for us to have the ball and to get a lot of shots and get a lot of goals out of those shots.
Now, how are you balancing the excitement for your team? Obviously, you want them to be geared up, knowing you can clinch a tournament berth with Friday, but what is the mindset right now to make sure that even if you do lose on Friday, you don't come out flat on Sunday?
Well, I think the confidence within our team that we've done that. We've done that 2 weekends in a row. If we do, God forbid, get to that point, I think, I don't think that our team will crush under that, because 2 weekends in a row we've shown that we can come back from a loss on Friday. But we really are focusing one at a time, and we even said in the locker room afterwards, you can't look at it as a weekend. And there's a lot of other distractions that go into this last weekend too. It's going to be our senior day. We're at home, and they have to really focus on the game at hand and each possession, and all the things that they have to do to get the best out of our team. And it really does. Those first 5 to 10 minutes determine how we do.
And Sunday, senior day at home, it's going to be against William & Mary. Obviously, you've already said you're not focusing too much on them, trying to look at Old Dominion, so we'll talk about the seniors. You have players like Pandolf, who have been stalwarts for you for a couple of years, then players like Jones and Zarvich on defense that have seen their playing time increase as they've been here. What are you going to miss about this group?
Well, they are all defense. Marianne Miller is here for another year, so you kind of count her as a senior, but not really. But they have really solidified our defense throughout the last couple years, and just like you said, Lizzie and Chrissy Jones have increasingly showed what they can do, and Jackie Pandolf is her stats, for once, her stats show what type of player she is. But everything that she does and that Lizzie does in terms of leadership are huge pieces to our team. And Jenna Kovar, we're going to say goodbye to too, who has been such a great inspiration for our team. She's another one who's dealt with an injury and hasn't practiced for the last 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, and just that, she's just an ultimate fighter, and it shows. It shows to everybody else on our team that you don't have to practice. She doesn't even know this game completely, but she goes in there against Delaware and gets a block and a cause turnover, and it excites our sideline, our team, our fans. It's inspirational, everything that she's done this year. So obviously not looking ahead, but it definitely towards the end of the season you start to think about those seniors and what they've done for your program, and this group has done a lot.
And finally, we'll bring it back to Friday night's game. What is going to be the key to victory?
Having the ball is going to be very important for us. We have not done a good job on the draw control throughout a full game, and I think that this game we will be able to control that, and draw control controls possession. Once we have it, I think that we can get great opportunities and we can score goals, but when you don't have the ball, ODU is a very dangerous team.
All right, Coach. Thanks a lot and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
And thank you, Hofstra fans, for joining us inside the WB Mason Coaches Report with Abby Morgan.